This is another community building office hours. My name is Alex. I am a senior team lead on our community support team. I am joined today by Colin.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Colin. I'm a manager of the support team here at Meetup.
And if you're joining us here for the first time for these office hours, we have posted a form in the event itself. People were submitting questions beforehand. We've pulled some of those questions, and a lot of our day is going to be answering questions you have about running your groups, running your events, how to sort of like optimize Meetup for your community building purposes. Before we start addressing those questions, we'll take care of some administrative business, some guidelines about what to expect today. First of all, this event will be recorded. You do not appear in the video. You have been courtesy muted, as well as your camera's turned off. So the only things you should be seeing are Colin, myself, and our presentation screen here. If you have questions, though, more than welcome. Please share them. It's a huge part of what we do here. Just click the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen and submit your questions. We have some support specialists on call through this session to answer your questions in real time, and then we might pull some of those questions and answer them at the end in a question answer session live. Last but not least, we do have closed captioning. If you'd like to turn that on, simply click on the live transcription icon at the bottom of your screen and select your preference. Today, we'll spend a few minutes at the top walking you through some recent product updates, some new features that we've rolled out, some new initiatives we're excited about. We'll talk about how you can start leveraging those in your own groups. And then the majority of our time will be answering questions either that were previously submitted or questions you've got for us today here on the call. And then, as always, at the end, we like to share some links so that you have access to our community support team and can continue getting your questions answered even outside of this meeting today. Some of the topics we'll cover today are how to promote your events and other spaces that might not be immediately obvious in which you can promote them on social media and beyond. We'll talk about some common troubleshooting tips for online events if you've started trying to host those, if you're running into issues with the video conferencing platform you're using. And also, we got some questions about linking and unlinking groups from pro networks. So if any of you are pro administrators and you've got questions about managing the number of groups in your network, we'll touch on that today, and we'll make time to answer other questions as well. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over the presentation to Colin, and he is going to talk us through some of the new product updates. Colin, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so the first thing that we recently rolled out is an update to member profiles. Now, this new design is currently just in the apps. We're still building this for the web. But if you open the iOS or Android app, you'll see a new design. So you'll see your profile more prominent, profile photo more prominent. There's a new section where you can see what people are looking to do here on Meetup. You can see any shared groups or shared interests that you have with the member that you're looking at. And then also it's like an easier way to chat with people. And everything else is basically the same, just a different design. All of this is customizable, so you can choose what appears or what doesn't appear. So yeah, check it out. We'd love to hear feedback about this, about the new design and how it's working for you. So definitely reach out if you have any thoughts. But yeah, like I said, this will soon be the new design, and the new sections will soon be coming on the web.
Another note to make about the customizable nature of these new profiles. If you are checking your profiles on the apps and you're seeing like the space for this information, but you're not able to actually see other members' information, it's likely because you have not shared your own. So something to keep in mind about how customizable it is that it's sort of like a equal opportunity information sharing. If you are not sharing your own interests, you will not be able to see anybody else's.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is and some of these features are also for Member Plus subscribers. So if you're an organizer, you'll be able to see these. But if you're a member who hasn't upgraded to Member Plus, you may have to subscribe in order to see like the shared groups or interests, but everything else should be visible. So yeah, check it out. And then the next one is also related to Member Plus. The Member Plus team has launched a new view, like a new design basically for the attendee list. Now this is just on Android for now. The iOS app and the web updates are still being built and will be coming soon. But right now, if you have an Android device and you have the Meetup app on there, when you go to the attendee list for an event, you can see a detailed toggle. So you can turn on and off the detailed list. So you can, again, see like the shared interests they're looking to. And this is just a good way to give members a clearer sense of like who will be there, what interests they share with each other. Kind of breaks the ice a little easier. And then also you can see what they're looking for or looking to do. So yeah, this is again being rolled out to the different platforms. So we are always open to feedback. We've heard some feedback about this feature since we rolled it out, I think last week. So yeah, we are open and welcome that feedback.
It's worth acknowledging too, like the expansion to the attendee list and the revisions to the member profile, they're all in service of trying to reduce no-shows. It's like the more information that your attendees and your members have about what they can expect, the likelier it is that even if they've RSVP'd, that they'll turn up. It sort of gets them over that hump about any kind of like social anxiety. So a lot of this is designed to reduce effort for your members and improve the engagement of your community.
Yeah, and you can see in that one screenshot, there's the first event label. So you can see that in the Meetup for Organizers app right now, but this is now, in the member, the original Meetup app. You can see like who is coming for the first time, so you can give them maybe a special welcome. Also, other members may see, oh, okay, I'm not the only person the only newbie, kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully that can be encouraging for people to have the confidence to show up and attend your events. All right, this next one is regarding the event feedback feature. So as a reminder, every time you host an event, all of the attendees or the members who RSVP'd yes to the event, they will be prompted to give feedback and rate the event after the event ends. So this page is specific to the event. So when you go in, you'll be able to see the average rating for the event. So this is from my group. Like I had 3 total ratings. It averaged to 4.7 stars. I didn't use the Meetup for Organizers app to take attendance for this specific event. However, if you did, you'll see the results right there and how many people showed up. Because in the Meetup for Organizers app, you can use the check-in feature. And you swipe left, swipe right in order to check people in or out, or mark them as a no-show, mark them as absent. And then you'll see the results there on web. And then underneath that, it's just a breakdown of the number of ratings. And then if someone left a review, like a written feedback response, you'll see that underneath there, and you can see what people had selected, with all like the various reasons why the event went well and stuff. So yeah, this is just a redesigned way of looking at this page with some more functionality like the show up results. But yeah, so this is event specific. And then the next slide is regarding an overview of all of this feedback across all of your events. So this was launched probably 3 weeks ago or maybe a month ago. And this is the average rating across every one of your past events. So instead of just looking at like events one by one, you can see everything in one place. And you can see what people liked, what went wrong. You can sort everything based on most recent or highest or lowest rating or ratings with reviews. And then you can also like contact these members quickly by clicking the three dots. And you'll be able to message them or report anything if you need to. So yeah, this is just an effort for really to focus on helping you learn and make improvements to your events. I've learned a lot from just hearing the feedback from my members when I host. Just being able to allow them to share like candid feedback is really helpful. And you know, ideally make your events the best they can be. So cool. And then the next slide. Oh yeah, this is just a reminder about the Meetup for Organizers app. Excuse me. We have a QR code here. If no one has, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, I encourage you to, because it's great for like on the go editing events. You can even create new events. You can manage your group. You can you know, see your event feedback, etc. And we are continuing to work on it and make improvements to this. So if you ever have feedback about features that aren't in it or functionality that you need, please let us know. We want to make this as helpful to you as possible. And yeah, and then the other thing, I don't have the slide for this, but earlier in the at the start of this meeting, we had a question from David. He said, when will Meetup make hybrid events easier to post? Now, hybrid events is a feature that we don't yet have, but we're in the process of building it, and we've actually rolled out a beta version to a few pro organizers. It will eventually be launched to all pro subscribers, but right now it's just in beta. So hybrid events is a feature where you can create an event and it's both online and in person. So you can you know, you can have an event happening and you can have like maybe you could have like a laptop set up with people joining online and also watching what's happening in person. So yeah, so that was a big feature that we've heard, and it's actually it's a big project that we've been working on for a while, and we're finally at the point where we can roll out this beta. So yeah, so to answer your question, David, it's in the works. It'll be available to pro subscribers soon, to all pro subscribers soon.
We'll have a link at the end when we share our resources to our product updates page. And if you subscribe to that, you'll get notified when new features like hybrid events are available. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing that link at the end of the session today. But now we'll move on into the core part of our day, which is the question and answer session. Like I said at the beginning, some of these questions were previously submitted before the event today, gave us some time to prepare answers, and then some of them we'll answer live based on what you're submitting in the Q&A feature down below. The first question we got was about group promotion. As a new organizer, I need to promote and share my group as far and wide as possible. Is there a way of doing this on WhatsApp, Telegram, etc.? So the easiest way to do this is simply by copying the group or URL and pasting it in WhatsApp. It's a great feature request to build in a direct way to share it, because we do offer integrations to share events directly from Facebook, Twitter, and I believe LinkedIn as well. And that's on your event homepage. There's icons for sharing. It just will create a link that'll just go directly to whatever accounts you have linked through your social media. Without the direct integration, you'll be able to just copy the URL and paste it directly into whatever messaging app you have. So if you have some sort of group chat, a Discord server, anything like that, and you want to share there, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to do that. Another thing we've been talking about lately, which isn't necessarily about social media or online spaces, but just about trying to target communities that don't know about your Meetup group and perhaps don't even know about Meetup at all. I've seen a lot of success with people who are just using printed out flyers and posting them in community centers, at gyms, public libraries, just physical spaces where a lot of people have foot traffic. Our like silly example that we saw kind of go viral was somebody in New York posted a QR code on like lampposts to join his Ryan meetup group. Anyone with the name Ryan was invited to join up, and they got like a huge response from it. So it's worth thinking outside the box. I think thinking about other spaces where you are constantly communicating with people, like WhatsApp and Telegram. It's a great way to try to share and promote your events. So it might have to be a bit more of a manual workaround. If you would like to see it more specifically integrated into Meetup, we'll share the feature request form. We've gone through that in some videos in the past, what that process is like. It just takes you to a Google form. You fill out some basic information about where on Meetup the specified feature that you would like to see improved is, and you'll fill out some basic information about yourself and your group. You submit it, and all of it goes to our product teams. They review all of those feature requests, and it helps us categorize and prioritize what updates we make next. Anything you want to add about that?
It's funny that you mentioned the Ryan meetup example in the flyers, because I was going to say that a big, I don't know if it's like it's really popular, but I've definitely heard from organizers who want to generate a QR code or something for their group or event to make it really easily to like share it, post it on a flyer, screenshot, share it, whatever. And I just wanted to again remind everyone that the more we hear these requests from you, if you do want a QR code, if you want this or that, tell us, because that's the way that we prioritize and track volume. And so if anyone wants, if anyone has a good idea for a feature or a way to make it easier to share your event or whatever, please tell us.
The feature request form is another one of the resources we'll share at the end, so keep an eye out for those links posted at the end. We'll make sure that you've got access to.
I think QR code would be really convenient.
Yeah.
For my group. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question. Here's one of those QR codes. So we actually got a couple questions about this. Please explain the procedure for hosting a Zoom meetup. With the last 2 monthly meetups I've scheduled, the link on our event page turned out to be invalid. Why did this happen? How do I prevent it from happening again? Am I supposed to edit the link that shows on the event page or just leave it alone? When we read this question, our first assumption was that it sounds more like an issue with Zoom than Meetup, but Meetup does offer a direct integration with Zoom. When you are creating your events, you can link your Zoom account directly to your Meetup account. So all you have to do is just click a button and it'll auto-populate your online event with a Zoom link that's specific for your event. And we share some resources in our help center about how to protect those links from Zoom bombing and other issues that have been reported since we started offering those features. The invalid link error message suggests to me that the actual Zoom link itself has expired. And again, it sounds to me like it's less of a Meetup issue than a Zoom one. My guess, again, not having direct insight into this group, is that because they're monthly meetings, it's likely a recurring event, and it's possible that reusing the same link for that recurring event, just depending on your Zoom account settings, that link could expire, which is probably a good security feature. It's like you want to make sure that the people you expect to be RSVPing to that specific event in the series can meet safely without anyone dropping in. So I would check your Zoom settings. I would edit the Zoom link on recurring events. And if you continue to encounter issues and error messages when you are hosting online events, I would highly recommend scanning this QR code and grabbing our direct request form for our support specialists. We can take a look at your group and your event with you, make sure all the settings are lined up correctly, and see if there is actually some sort of defect going on. Again, I don't think that's what's happening in this situation, but we want to make sure you've got access to our support team who can investigate that if that is indeed the case. So again, it sounds to me like in this situation, you probably do need to refresh that link periodically for a repeating event. Did you want to add something, Colin?
I'll just share what I do for my reoccurring events, because I host an event like every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's like same time, same place. We do yoga together, and it's online. So I do use the same Zoom link URL, but I went into my Zoom settings and I made sure that Zoom meeting will repeat every, at that time, same place as my Meetup event. So it's kind of like making sure that your Meetup event matches your Zoom event. So that's what I do, and it's always worked for me. I've never had trouble. I will say that when you do create a Zoom uh meeting, to make sure that you go into your security settings and edit it to make to your liking, because I've had some awkward moments of people coming in who I don't know, or like interrupting, Zoom bombers, that kind of thing. So you have full access to your Zoom settings to make sure that that doesn't happen, or you can lock the meeting. You can make it so that people can't turn on their video, they can't unmute, they can't share screen. So all these things that are really helpful depending on the type of meeting you're hosting. But yeah, if it comes down to the actual link of the Zoom, I would go in and make sure that it's like not gonna just like expire, and it's like it's like a meeting that happens, until you turn it off. So yeah, but yeah, definitely reach out if you're continuing to have issues with that.
Yeah, I actually did some research myself before today. I went into Zoom's help center and just searched for the word invalid to see if I could see if it was a recurring issue. And it sounded like it was sort of a known situation if it's like an old link.
Yeah, if it expires, it'll say that it's invalid, because then like they're not gonna just like allow you to create any Zoom URL unless it's like active on their end. So yeah.
Anyway, okay. Our next pre-submitted question is about pro networks, which can get a little more complex than the standard organizers. This pro administrator had asked, I have 3 groups and 2 of them are inactive. Can I release those inactive 2 after I upgrade to pro? I would like to add the emails from those groups to my list, but I do not want to pay for pro for those inactive groups. So part of what's important to know about this question and about the way that pro networks are set up is that, unlike standard organizer subscriptions with pro, you pay per group. So that's why the concern about paying for these inactive groups is present. Pro also offers a MailChimp integration and a more integrated way to capture the email addresses of your attendees for your events. So the concern here is like, if they close those groups, if they unlink them from the pro network, can they still add the emails from those groups to their list? So I did some poking on this. My best answer for this is, if you want to capture the email addresses, they do kind of need to be linked to the pro network in order to at least effectively capture those email addresses within Meetup itself. I think there are obviously manual workarounds, but I don't get the sense that that's what this particular pro customer was considering. If at this time, because groups are paid for like independently on the pro level, you pay for each group separately. Unlinking can get a little complicated, and it's worth using the link that we shared before about direct requests to our support specialists to get assistance with unlinking groups, just to make sure that you're not billed for groups that aren't active. Yeah, I think you would probably need to make sure those groups are included in your pro network, capture the email addresses, and then contact support specialists to make sure that the groups get unlinked from the network.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the right route as well. The only thing I'll say is that I think I'm not sure, and I'll just be honest, I'm not sure if when you link a Meetup group, an existing Meetup group, to your pro network, if it automatically like gives you all the email addresses from the members in there, because I think that members have to like opt in. Like when they we can't just like share their email addresses without their consent. But when they like RSVP to an event, or when they join a group, they like agree, okay, I agree, you can have my email address. So I'm not sure. I just want to call that out because I don't know if that will totally work. But yeah, it's just something we should look into.
Yeah, I had tried to say like attendees would share their email
Right.
addresses when they RSVP to an event. So that degree of opting in and that degree of consent would be required in order to capture those email addresses. That was my understanding of it too.
Yeah.
But like I said, there are also manual workarounds. There are plenty of pro administrators who just sort of pass around, a Google form to every member in their group and ask them to submit the information.
Yeah, but it's
Just a
totally
lot more
possible.
tedious.
Exactly. It's totally possible to, upgrade to pro and then like close groups and capture whatever email addresses that of the members who have agreed to share their email. So yeah, it's a
Cool.
tricky
All right.
one.
So that was the pre-submitted questions. We've been getting a lot of questions in our Q&A section today. We really appreciate it. I'm going to start with a two-part question from Lisa about, it sounds like we're talking about another pro network. So Lisa said, we've just added a second group for an event in a different location than our typical one. We announced our event to this second group, but the only people in the group are people who just registered and had to join the group to register. So the announce feature is kind of moot for this first event, right? I'd like to understand the best way to announce this event to our network since it's a hybrid event and others may want to join virtually. She also added, we have one network with two groups in two different cities. And we did it this way because we want our events to be hybrid and we want them to be promoted to the local group members, but also to everyone. Would it have made more sense for us to schedule a network event and skip the local groups? I think I understand the question. My initial thought is, yes, I think scheduling a network event would have been more efficient, but it also sounds like, as Colin said, like we're still beta testing hybrid events. And once that's available on a wider scale, it might solve some of the logistical issues that you're running into, because it sounds like you're having to sort of do some workarounds in order to accommodate the different ways that people can RSVP. Yeah, announcing can be, I feel like I end up saying this in a lot of these meetings. There isn't a one size fits all answer when it comes to promoting your events. There isn't like click the announce button at 2:37 p.m. on a Tuesday and you're guaranteed to get a certain number of responses. It's going to depend varying on the kind of community that you're building and who's part of that community. So it can involve some trial and error. I think in this case, because it's one event that you are trying to promote to multiple groups in your network, that's why I'm leaning toward the efficiency of using the network event. What do you think, Colin?
Sorry, I was just reading this other question.
Yeah.
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, if we are trying to promote one event to multiple groups in a pro network, at this time, the most efficient way to do that would be to use a network event, right?
Yeah, I think so. One event to multiple groups. That's what the network event feature is for, because it not only posts on the group page. So there's one event that's like scheduled across multiple groups. So it's posted on each of those group pages. But it's also sent to the members via email and notifications, the announcement, the reminders, all of that is at the group level as well. So I would say the network event feature is the best way to promote.
Yeah, I might be way off base here, but reading between the lines, when Lisa says she's trying to reach everyone, I'm kind of intuiting that she's trying to reach people outside of the network as well. Because it is like a hybrid event, so there's like an online component, and maybe like people who aren't in the two cities of those groups could join. In which case, I would, just to go back here to first question about how to promote. Once you have that network event, grab that URL and share it on any network platform and print those flyers and post them in physical spaces. It's going to attract even more people and reach a wider array of people. Like the network event is going to like simplify it within Meetup in one place that can reach multiple targeted communities, but to really reach everyone, leveraging a lot more platforms for promotion is probably going to be important.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a question. I think we answered that follow-up one, but from Peter, and this is this is going off of like the concept of like promoting and announcing and reminding. Peter said, "Can we specify automated reminders for events at scheduled intervals before the event to increase show-up rates?" So I think Peter's asking if he can like manually select a specific time for a reminder to go out at scheduled intervals before the event, so that members will be more, be reminded, and that they will more likely to show up. Right now, we don't have a feature where you can choose when reminders go out. We only have the ability to send the announcement. You can choose when to send the announcement. Now, we have heard feedback and requests from people who say, I want to be able to schedule my announcement, so I don't want to like have to remember and then go in and then press the button. I want us to be like, okay, at this time, X number of days or hours before the event, I want this announcement to go out, and then I want the reminders to go out here and the reminders to go out here. We don't have that, but it's a really great request, and I encourage you to send us that request via the feature request form, because we have heard that, and again, more volume and more we hear this stuff, more likely that we can build it. But
I'll also call attention to, this isn't a manual announcement option, but we do have automated event reminders. So for recurring events, I'm like 98% confident it's 6 days before the event, an automated email notification will go out. The 1 day beforehand, I think, only goes out to people who've already RSVP'd. It's a reminder for them, like, you've already RSVP'd to this. The 6 days before, I think, goes out to all of the group members. And it's particularly important to keep that in mind if you have a recurring event, because recurring events don't give you the option to announce it, because it's like a stable event. Like your members sort of expect, like, oh, every other Tuesday, they always have that event. So the automated reminders sort of serve the purpose. But in support of what Colin was saying, like having, I think, a little bit more manual control over when those announcements go out for your particular group, it seems like it would be really useful, because you never know when your members are going to be checking their stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And because each group is different, and the purpose of the events and the planning and the preparation for the events could be different. Like some groups need to announce an event a month before, and others are just like, okay, let's announce it like a week before. So, it's really, that's why we have the ability to announce it at your desire. But I think like a more customizable schedule would be so much better. So thanks for asking that, Peter.
Checking some of the other questions we got. Peter also had a question about impact of COVID on existing groups. Many people are leaving or have left cities. What advice do you have for mature meetups? I have an 8.6K mailing list and can barely get anyone on a Zoom. We actually hosted an event about this. I'm trying to find the recording on our blog. Let's see. Let's see if that's it. No, this is a while away. If you go to meetup.com/blog, the recording of this particular event is going to end up being posted there, but also all of the events we've hosted over the past couple of years as we started doing these. And we have had a couple of events around engagement to like kickstart a group that sort of slowed down because of COVID. Um, I
Yeah,
Colin, if you want to
it's
cover for me a
tricky.
second, I'm see if I can find the link.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. It's tricky because the way that Meetup works for groups is when you create your group, an announcement goes out to all the members in your area or in the group's area that are interested in your group's topics. And then like there's an influx of members, but for mature groups who have been around for a while, we don't really have a feature that like re-announces or like re-sends out a blast email to members, like maybe new members who don't know about your group or existing members who want to get re-engaged. So I keep bringing up this feature stuff because there's a lot of good ideas on how
Yeah.
to make this better.
I I did
Um,
find the link, and our
Great.
colleague Emily is going to post it in the chat now. Just looking at the screen cap from that event, I remembered. So we had one of our mentors from our Discord community, which we will share a link for as well. We have an active Discord community where we have these like very experienced organizers who are sharing their tips and tricks for keeping their communities engaged. And one of them, his name is David, said he's hosting primarily online events, perhaps exclusively online events, and they were impacted by COVID. And he managed to maintain engagement in multiple cities because he has a pro network. He published in his group description a guideline that was like, if you don't attend events like for X amount of time, that is grounds for us to remove you. Like no hard feelings. It's just like we're trying to make sure that people who are engaged are part of the group. And he would manually go through his member list periodically, remove people who hadn't shown up. And you can sort your member list and see like the last time that they visited. So it's like if they haven't visited your group homepage in 6 months, it's like, boom, we can target that person and remove them. But when you remove somebody from the group, you can send them a message. And that message can include the group homepage and say, hi, I'm removing you from the group because you haven't attended an event in 3-4 months, but we'd love to see you. If you click this link, you can rejoin the group, and it will actually affect our Meetup's notification system. We will register that person as an active group member and start sending them event announcements more frequently, because that's something that we sort of stopped doing after about a year. Our system sort of recognizes if people aren't actively logging into Meetup or logging into your group. We do have a funnel system, like a notification system to draw people back into your group so that they'll attend. But if they're just not logging in, ultimately we stop sending them messages. So removing them and inviting them to rejoin your group is a really useful way to get them active again. It's just entirely possible that if stuff shut down because of COVID, if you haven't met for a while, it would sort of have the impact that your members would be registered as inactive. So just useful strategy to keep in mind. And if you look up the word engagement in the blog, you can find other recordings on this theme and sort of explore around there.
Yeah, and going off of what we were talking about earlier with like promotion and just like getting the word out about your group, the best advice I can have for mature meetups who are looking to not only engage their existing members, but also attract maybe new members who didn't get the original new group announcement, is just like we said, to promote your group across other social media network platforms, flyers, QR codes, your social network. So I'm sure you've probably done a lot of that, Peter, but yeah, it depends on if you're looking for new people who are active or existing members who you want to reactivate. So they're kind of two different strategies there, but hopefully that's helpful. But yeah,
Yeah,
wow, 8.6
we've
thousand
got
people on his mailing list.
Yeah. I think we've got time for one more question, but I do just kind of want to follow because I can see Peter has posted about the member communications. We've posted other recordings and blogs about notifications. A lot of it is automated based on a lot of research that we've done on our users about how to like optimize communications so that people don't choose to opt out of notifications. There's a lot of things you can get notified about through Meetup, and I think we've learned kind of the hard way that if we send people too many notifications, they'll just turn off all their notifications, and then you don't get the engagement that you're looking for as a community builder. So we're always kind of doing additional research around this and trying to roll out new features to boost engagement. But if someone is inactive for a year, yeah, we stop sending them notifications, just so that we're not like harassing and inundating them with emails and push notifications that they don't want. Good thing to keep in mind. And again, check the blog, search notifications. We've got all kinds of resources just to give you like kind of more context and more strategies that you can use to sort of like work around that. I think we can make time for one more question, and then we'll serve up the resources and links that we promised. David asks, I have 4 groups feeding 1 recurring event. How much would Turning Pro help coordinating this hybrid event in terms of updates and revisions? And at what additional annual fee? Just basic questions about upgrading to Pro. Good news is if you go to meetup.com/pro, nice basic landing page will give you a lot of the key highlights. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's $35 per group per month at the Pro level.
If you do,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you're right. If you do the monthly plan, but if you do the 6-month plan, it's a little less. Yeah.
And that's true for all of our subscription tiers. If you subscribe for a longer period of time, there's a little bit of a reduction to the cost. For Meetup Pro subscribers, you get access to a dashboard that gives you analytics on attendance and engagement. Like I said, there's some MailChimp integration, so you can capture email addresses. You can also generate event templates. So all you have to do is from your Pro dashboard, open that template, and it'll like auto-populate a lot of the fields of your event scheduler. If you are using the Meetup for Organizers app, Pro at this time is almost exclusively on desktop. So that's something to keep in mind about accessing those exclusive features. But in terms of like updating and revising events, the event template can be a really useful way to do that. And rather than having like a steady recurring event that you're constantly adjusting, which I think can actually cause some sort of logistical issues because it can create duplicate events potentially. But if you have the event template, then you can generate individual events within your Pro network, publish them to however many groups in your network you want. We've also been talking about network events, so it'll be one event published to multiple groups in your network. So Pro can support the efficiency in running a group.
The only thing is that correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but network events for Pro, I don't know if reoccurring events are supported for network events. So if he's running one reoccurring event and he wants to use Pro to like, post it across his 4 groups, but he wants it to be reoccurring, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
I think you're right. But I also, and potentially hot take from an employee here at Meetup, especially if it's a recurring event that you are making frequent adjustments to, like I recommend don't host it as a recurring event. Like you want individual events. And if you remain on the standard tier, like without all of the Pro perks, you can copy a past event and it'll again auto-populate like event description, title, a lot of that information. So ultimately, like really all you have to adjust is the date and time.
Yeah, that's a good
I find
workaround.
that to be a much simpler and nicer experience for attendees as well as for myself if I host multiple instances of the same event. I personally just find recurring events, unless you completely leave them alone and it's just a totally stable event where nothing changes, any adjustments to a recurring event, I think just hosting individual instances is a lot more easy for me.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's
great questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your recommendations, your questions today. We really love hearing from people who are using Meetup and learning about what works, what you wish was stronger, so that we can keep improving the experience for you as community builders. To that extent, here are the links that were promised. First and foremost, top left-hand corner, our feature request form. We've brought that up several times today. If you have ideas about improvements to existing features or suggestions for features that you do not see offered at all, please feel free to use this feature request form. It is an absolutely vital part of how Meetup continues developing, iterating, rolling out new updates. If you don't have any suggestions, but you just want to stay informed about what's coming, like I said, when we announce hybrid events, stay up to date with our product updates. That's the bottom left-hand QR code. And we're also sharing links in the chat as well. So yeah, keep an eye on product updates for other features that can improve your experience. Our help center, we are constantly refreshing it with tutorials, instructions. We're trying to make sure that there's screenshots and walkthroughs for some of the features. We also try to post some success resources every so often. So we try to make sure that our help center is full of information that can help support any questions that you may have and get you back to using Meetup. At the bottom of every page, you'll see a link that says need help. And if you click that link, it will open that direct request form. And you'll be able to open an email ticket with a support specialist. They can help you on a one-on-one account-specific level and really investigate any questions you have. Last but not least, the bottom right-hand corner is the bug report form. If you run into an error message or the app crashes, something has gone catastrophically wrong while you are hosting your events, file that bug report. It helps us track issues a lot faster and deploy fixes a lot faster. And as I mentioned, we do have a Discord community. If you are unfamiliar with Discord, it is a live, like real-time messaging platform. If you don't have an account with Discord, you'll have to make one. But once you do, you can scan this QR code or join the link that we're sharing. You will open Discord and go to our Discord server that has a whole series of channels for discussion. At first, you're going to see a very limited number of channels. We'd like you to go to the Start Here channel. You answer a handful of questions, and that gets you full access to all the conversations. Every day, we have a mentor in the morning, a mentor in the afternoon, answering your questions, sharing their experiences. And then there's thousands of other organizers who are sharing their stories, sharing pictures from their events. It's a really, really great way to kind of get new ideas and hear about how other people are doing the work that you're doing. We're really proud of how much it's grown and how much it's thriving, and we'd love for you to join us there. And I believe that's the end of our presentation today. Thank you again so much for joining us and for sharing your questions, and happy organizing. Thank you again.
Bye, everyone.